Hey, what's going on, everybody? Make sure you like this page, subscribe to this page, or like this video, comment on this video, subscribe, and share. All right. So let's just say you have a lot of people in your life right now that are in your life for the wrong reasons. Okay, and you're not able to pick up on why they're in your life for the wrong reasons. Okay. First of all, the problem is you shouldn't have a lot of people in your life. And when I'm talking about in your life, I'm talking about in your inner circle. Imagine having a party and then a whole bunch of people are invited to your house. So every room that you go in, it's packed with people. How are you able to monitor if anybody's stealing from you? How will you be able to find out if anything gets broken? Who's broke it? Who broke it, and who did it? How are you able to find out those things? It's because you have too many people in your inner circle. All right. Now, I know you want to let people in your inner circle, and I know you want to be nice to people. But the problem is, everybody isn't going to be operating with a pure heart and going to look out for your best interest. There are more people out there that will pretend to look out for your best interest than actually purely want to look out for your best interest. So you just got to be mindful of that. All right. That goes with guys and girls in your life of any kind of capacity. All right. Whether it's a friendship, whether it's a brotherhood, whether it's a friendship, a sisterhood, whether it's business partners, whether it's personal, whatever the case may be. You can't let, no matter what somebody says or do, you can't let anybody just come into your inner circle. And even when you let the people that come into your inner circle come into your inner circle, you still have to keep eyes on them. Okay. But if somebody earns the right to get into your inner circle, okay, you can't, just because they come into your inner circle, give them all the passwords and access to everything in your house. Hey, this is where I keep my guns, man. Hey, this is where I keep my money, man. Hey, this is where I keep my personal information. You can't do that for everybody. You are lucky if you can find one person to do that. Even like with my wife or whatever the case may be, my wife knows my passwords to my social media. My wife knows my codes and things to this, to that, and to the third. But even my wife, it's like, okay, just because you have access to those things don't mean you need to access those things. Access those things if something happens to me. But until something happens to me, these are certain things that you don't access. And it's vice versa. There are certain things that my wife has access to, that my wife has, that I have access to, but I don't access them. I don't access them. Why? Because it's important for her to have some semblance of something for herself. And if she may not want to release certain information to me, and that doesn't mean she's hiding anything, but what I'm saying is there are certain things. It's for an example. If my wife has a business that she's functioning and operating, if something happens to her, yes, I need to have access to those things. But those accesses are understood. These accesses are over here. If anything happens to me, go here. But if nothing happens to me, don't go here. Do you understand? I don't need to go on my wife's Facebook page or social media page and go behind and check what she's doing. If I'm in a relationship with somebody that I have to do that with, it's time for me to go. But I do have access to those things, so that in out of respect, I don't access those things. Do you understand what I'm saying? So a lot of you think, oh, well, I'm supposed to have access to everything. That's my man. That's my woman. No, you are supposed to have access, but you are not supposed to access it unless she or he states that these conditions warrant it. When you go and give people access to your things, you got to be careful too, because are they the type of people that if you give them access, that they're going to access it. So you might be in a relationship with a girl or a guy, and you might say, hey, listen, I'm going to give them access to my bank account. But they don't have the discipline to stay out of the bank account. You shouldn't give that person access. And that person shouldn't be upset that you ain't giving them access. So how do you find out these things? Well, you got to make sure that they're faithful over a few things, and so that you understand that they can be faithful over many things. You can't just give the farm to a person and say, hey, mi casa su casa. No. You don't. You start dating a person. You don't say, hey, you can leave your day one, you can leave your toothpaste, you can leave your toothbrush at my house. No. You don't do that. Why? Because a person has to earn that right. You don't meet somebody because they're beautiful. You say, hey, look, come in, let's move in together. You can, but it's not smart. Make people, and here's another thing, make people earn every day what you've given them access to. Let's just stop this unconditional stuff. Unconditional makes people lazy. I'll love, honor, and cherish you under the condition that you ride for me, you have my back, I trust you, and you're loyal to me. Once you stop doing those types of things, I'm not riding for you anymore. I'm not going to have your back anymore. I'm not going to operate with you like I used to operate with you because the contract was breached. So there's contracts happening every day. Every day. If I call if I call a pizza shop and I tell them I want to order, I want delivery, and I want them to bring a pizza to my house, and I pay for it, let's just say I pay for it over the phone, okay? The contractual agreement is that they are going to bring me the pizza that I want, and it's going to taste like I want it to taste. And if it doesn't taste like I want it to taste, I'm going to take that pizza back and I'm going to ask them for my money back. Do they want that? No, they're in business to make money. So if they're in business to make money, then the services need to be rendered as advertised. When we get in relationships with people, okay, the reason that we get in and I'm speaking from a man's perspective, the reason that we give a woman access to a relationship with us is because they have shown us something that we find valuable, that we want around us with regularity. Now, women are very good at understanding in those stages what a man is looking for. Because sometimes she'll just flat out ask. She doesn't want to straight talk, no chaser. She just want, okay, what is it that you're looking for? Well, I'm looking for a woman that's going to cook for me. I'm looking for a woman that's going to keep the house clean. I'm looking for a woman that's going to bust it wide every day. And what do you get in the beginning? If she is interested in you, she will cook for you, she will clean for you, and she will bust it wide. Then you have access. Then you say, oh, well, that's what you're doing? Well, that's what I'm looking for. And she said, yeah. So give me access to the relationship. And then you said, okay, I'm going to give you access to the relationship. So instead of her coming over to your house and cooking and cleaning and busting it wide, you say, well, bring your toothbrush and bring your clothes. And she says, all right. Then you tell her, then all of a sudden, she's still cooking and cleaning and busting it wide for you. But then all of a sudden, she starts slacking on the cooking, slacking on the cleaning, slacking on the busting it wide. And now what do? If you stay true to form and say, hey, look, the contract was breached, you got to leave. She's like, so you just going to kick me out? I just gave up my whole apartment. You gave up your apartment to move in with me. And I told you what I needed. I needed you to cook, clean, and bust it wide. And you are slacking in the cooking and the cleaning and the busting wide. Some of them, all of them, or one of them. And that is something that I can't do. We have to be clear about what we need from the other person. And we have to remind them of what we need from the other person. And then if something develops where we need something else from them, we need to communicate what we need from them. And we need to get clarity on the feedback of whether it can be done or not. If we are not going to get like relationships need clarity. I'm not here to tell you exactly the way a relationship is supposed to go. I'm not qualified to do that. And really, even when you go to a counselor about a relationship, and I'm not, I am for counseling, okay? Even if things are good, I'm for counseling because it can help you with ways of better effectively communicating. But if I am, but clarity is so crucial in a relationship. You have to know exactly what your partner is expecting of you. And then you have to know if you're able to perform that. So, what happens when you're in a relationship and you reach the point where something that your partner is telling you that they need from you, you either cannot do it or will not do it, but you don't want to throw the relationship away? Well, this may be tough to hear. This may be tough to hear, but it's got to be said. You have to allow your partner to, not once, but you have to allow your partner, if there's something that they need and you can't or won't provide it, you have to allow your partner to be able to seek out what it is that they need, because a need is something that is crucial to you. Now, that's the proverbial theme that every relationship must have, where the people that are involved are getting the needs met that they have to have met. And we have to really distinguish need and want. We have to really distinguish between need and want. Need is something that is critical for your survival. And here is the thing about your partner. You don't have a right to tell your partner that what they need is not something that they need. You don't have a right. Even if you see it as a want, you can't do that. If my wife says, I need this, and I think it's ridiculous, I think it's redundant, or whatever the case may be, then I need to communicate with my partner. I know that's what you need. But what can we do about it? Because I can't see myself being able to provide that for you with the regularity in which you say it's supposed to be. But we're not doing that. We're approaching them and we're saying, you don't need all of that. Now, it is for self accountability purposes, it is for you to recognize if you are being unreasonable or not. Because some of you are being babies about it. Some of you are pouting, whining, and you're spoiled little brats. And you want everything to go exactly the way you want it to go. Keyword, want. We're not talking about your wants. We're talking about your needs. Now, if we sit here and we say, I need you to spend quality time with me, that's fine. But if we say, I need you to spend 8 hours a day with me, and the other person doesn't have 8 hours in a day to spend with you, then that's going to be a problem. Because if they try to spend 8 hours a day with you, they may be sacrificing something that's critical for you, for them, or for the both of you. And there needs to be some comprehension of that. You may not like it, but it may be some comprehension. It's like, I remember there was a period where I was working close to 20 hours a day. Now, thank goodness my wife had compassion and comprehension, because for that particular season, I was working about 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so, but what if my wife would have said, well, I need you to spend more time with me. And I said, okay, the 20 hours that I was working and the money that I was making in those 20 hours would not have been made. And that would have directly affected me, her, and our children. And sometimes we're asking our partners to do something for us that robs everybody in a totality. And we have to think about what we're asking from our partners. We have to take and we have to comprehend where they're coming from in terms of what we're asking for. But now there is a delicate balance to it, because if it's something that you absolutely need and that person cannot do that, is it because they can't do it for a period of time, or is it they can't do it permanently? See, now it's a different story if it's permanently. See, if it's for a period of time, you love that person and you comprehend what's going on, then you just need to just hold out. You need to sacrifice, because it's going to benefit you. Sacrifice is fine as long as it's beneficial. But if sacrifice isn't going to benefit, then sacrifice is a waste of time. Why would you sacrifice if there's not going to be a benefit of the sacrifice? See, when I was sacrificing those 20 hours of not being around my wife and my kids, the benefit was the paycheck. And the paycheck allowed us to do things that we needed to do. And the work that I did then set up the residuals for later. So now I don't have to work as hard for what comes in, because the ground has been laid and the money comes in residually. So now if I'm not able to work, we have a foundation that comes in that allows us freedoms or liberties. And that's the way that it works. You have to, in order for you to be on the receiving end or the giving end, well, I would say the receiving end. If you're on the receiving end of me working 20 hours a day and you want to see me, you want to spend time with me, you want to do this, you want to do that, do you comprehend why? And is the comprehension to the point where you get it? You don't like it, but you get it. And it's going to lead to something that is pleasant and desirable to you. Then you got to be able to do this. But see, you can't do this if you're operating in your emotions. Your emotions won't let you see it. The only thing that operating in your emotions will allow you to do is feel what you feel at the moment. And what you feel in the moment is crucial, but what you feel in the moment is not the big picture. You're going to have to take a step back, and you're going to have to get out of your feelings, and you're going to have to maximize your comprehension of what's going on, why it's going on, and what it's going to lead to. Is it going to lead to nothing? Well, fight and complain. about it. Not fight each other, but fight for it then. Fight for it. And if your partner can't give you something, and so if your partner is doing something that's causing you to bleed, causing you to hurt for no cause, that needs to be, the clarity on that needs to be abundant. Okay, what you're doing is not beneficial to me, not beneficial to our children, not beneficial to our relationship and family. So why are you doing it? Well, honey, it makes me feel good. Okay, there are a lot of things that'll make me feel good, but I have to take into consideration my family. So everything that we do has to be with our family in mind. Because every act that we do, it either benefits the family or it doesn't. So why would we spend time doing something that doesn't benefit our family? You got to be able to communicate that it benefits your family. And that person has the right to be able to accept or decline it. That's what we have to do. There's no way around it. So now, coming from that situation, we have to have the clarity to talk about those things. And we have to have the clarity to be able to maximize our comprehension of those things. And when we maximize our comprehension of those things, then that gives us a renewed perspective. And so sometimes when we're going through something in our lives and we don't have the proper perspective, it's mayhem in our lives. It's hellacious in our lives. But when we understand that the trials and the tribulations that we're going through is something that's going to lead to something else, then that's what we release our faith for. The belief in the substance of things that we hope for, but the things that we can't see right now. We hope for it, but we can't see it right now. But the trajectory says that it's going to come. This is the communication. This is the communication barrier that needs to be broken so that it allows free access to be able to comprehend in a maximum capacity that this is going to be good for us. This is going to be good for the whole totality of the situation. And then there has to be an expiration date. So if it's something that's going to be sacrificed, there has to be an expiration date on it. Well, how long do you need to do this? In my particular case, I didn't fight with this with my wife, but if it did come to a fight, there was a period of 3 months that I needed to do this. And after the 3 months, I wouldn't have to do it. So then it gives, so communicating that to my wife, or her having full comprehension of that, she says, okay, so it's just going to be like this for 3 months. So I can deal. Then it also had to be something, okay, well, what are you going to do about the fact that you're lacking this quality time with me? Are you going to take that time and go and spend it with someone else? Are you going to go out there and gallivant with some other guy? Like, that needs to be communicated. That, like, if that's what you absolutely positively need, you need that, then I have a choice. I can either sacrifice. I can say, okay, listen, maybe I could take an hour out of that 20 and give it to you and give you what you want in that hour. Then we start compromising. So what she's going to have to compromise in that situation is she's going to have to compromise the amount of money that I could make with the time that I'm spending with her. But she's willing to sacrifice that money so she can have that time. But if she can say, okay, but I will sacrifice this 3 months, but after this 3 months, I want you. I need you. And I want you in an abundance. And I say, okay, and we have an agreement. And then it needs to go down. Then, when those 3 months are over and I start making excuses why I can't be around or whatever the case may be, she has a right to have no toleration for that. Because my word is my bond. If I said I'm going to do something, I got to do it. And listen, if she says, I need this from you, even in this season, do you know what I have to do? I've got a choice. I can't stifle her from getting what she needs. And if I can't stop doing what I have to do, then maybe we have reached a crossroad in our relationship. And I have to let her free to be able to go get what she wants. Now, there's a consequence to that too, because she can't go out there and freely just get what she wants, get done with it, and come back home. Not with me. She can't do that with me. It's called opportunity cost. If she goes out there and she wants to get something from me, now it might work for you. You might say, okay, you can go out there and you do what you want to do, but these are the stipulations. If that's you, then that's you. It's not me, but it's you, that's you. You got to be willing to allow this person who is a human being to be able to have what they need. And it's not for you to tell them that what they say they need is simply a want. You can't convince them of that. That's the state that they're in, whether it's a realistic state or not. That's the state that they're in. Oftentimes with women, they operate on their feelings, so these things can get misconstrued. That's why it's up to a woman to work out and work through her own emotions. But you got to provide an atmosphere so she can work out her own emotions, because she's going to feel some things. This is the challenge in dealing with a woman. But you got to allow a woman the best atmosphere for her to work through her emotions so she can have some semblance of logic in her choices. And I'm not saying that women aren't logical. I'm just saying they're not designed the same way men are. Men are designed to make logical choices. Case in point, a man has a problem and he goes to another man and talks about his problem. It's not much of a talk. It's let's find out what's wrong and let's figure out the solution. When women talk, they're not necessarily sure they would like a solution to their problem, but a lot of times women will vent. They just want somebody to hear them. They don't want you to solve their problem. They want to talk it out. And that's what we have to make ourselves available to with our women. It may not be what we want, but we have to give them some semblance of being able to talk uninterrupted, being able to feel uninterrupted. Then when they seem to gather themselves and get it under control, when they have let it out and exhausted it, then we have to tread lightly. And we have to get permission, in a sense, of saying, I hate to see you like this. I hate to see you having these problems. Would you like to know what I would do if I was in that situation? Yes. We have to ask permission, because sometimes women don't want the answer. They may know the answer. They're just working through their emotions. And this happens with men too. Sometimes when I have a problem and I'm talking to someone, sometimes in talking through things, I get the answer that I'm looking for. So you got to give a woman an opportunity to be able to run her emotions, run through it. Provide her the safety to be able to run through her emotions. Once she runs through her emotions. See, now, all women don't deserve this, okay? You just can't be giving this to all. I'm talking about your partner, your wife, your ride or die. Give them the opportunity. Give them the environment to be able to express. I struggle with this with my wife in the beginning. My wife would shut down quick because I want to solve the problem. And then she would shut down. She's just like, you're not listening to me. You're not hearing me. And a woman wants to be heard, but she wants to be effectively heard. She wants to be heard, and she wants to come away with you. She wants to come away feeling like he gets it. And this is what you subject yourself to, because a woman is a marvelous companion at her peak and a marvelous helpmate at her peak. And you want her companionship and her helpmate. These are the things that you have to go through and deal with a woman. You're not going to just have a woman that's just going to not say anything and just be quiet all the time, express herself. She wants to do that. Even if you are in a situation where you're making all of the major decisions and you are the head of the household and you make all of the money, it doesn't matter. She is a part of the team, and she's an intricate part of the team. And even if she's not helping you make the money, she is still helping you. She makes it possible for you to do the things that you're doing. She gives you the freedom to be able to do what you're doing. If she is Susie homemaker and Susie wifey, she is allowing you the opportunity to be able to go out there and provide, protect, and produce. See, you can provide, protect, and produce when it's just you. But in order for you to be able to do that, when you are married with children, you've got to have the post at home under control. And this is what a woman by nature is designed to do. She can be out there working. I know women that are out there working, making good money in their businesses or their jobs, and they're running that household. But rest assured, those children ain't at the house. So there is some semblance of when the children aren't in the house and the wife's not in the house and the husband's not in the house, there's nothing to run at the house. The house is on freeze. The house is on pause. But when she's in the house and those children are in the house is running. The house is running. So now, when we're in our relationships with our spouses, then we need to communicate and have this clarity. And I want to wrap this up. I want to wrap this video up early, okay? But we have to have this communication and clarity to the point where all parties involved are heard, all parties involved on the same page, and all parties involved are able to express what it is that they need and want. And the recipient is supposed to make sure that we cover the grounds of what's needed, and we're supposed to do our best to try to provide what's wanted. Here's how we get what we want from our relationships. That person has to be rocking with us to get favor. See, blessings are needs and favors are wants. And everybody gets blessings, right? Blessings rain out of the sky for all of us, right? Bad people, good people, and anybody in between. But when you are doing the things that you're supposed to do in your life, when people are watching you or when people aren't watching you, you are walking in life with integrity to the highest level. This is how you accomplish and achieve favor and want. So when you're doing the things that you're supposed to do for your spouse, it's going to manifest and it's going to show up. When those things start to manifest and show up, it is the best opportunity for your spouse to feel and want to provide you what you want. Fellas, you want your wife to do these, you want your wife to be on demon time with you? You have no chance of your wife being on demon time with you if you're not providing the things that she needs and attempting to provide the things that she wants. And it goes both ways. I'm going to say that again. If you're not providing what he or she needs and not making the valiant attempt to provide at least some of the things that they want, you have no chance, fellas, of her being on demon time with you, and ladies, him being on whatever time you need. So if you're not getting the things that you want in your relationship, well, the first question that you have to ask yourself is, are you covering the needs? And are you attempting to do the things that they want? That is the only way. Because from an evaluation standpoint, if I am with someone and they are, and I get the sense that they're doing the bare essentials, like they're not even doing the bare essentials, then that person isn't in a favorable place with me. And if that person isn't in a favorable place with me, then I'm not going to consider going above and beyond for them. So then you say, well, who starts first? Well, it's a principle that you stand on to say, I'm going to make sure that I am providing what is needed. And when and where I can, I'm going to give and provide what is wanted. And that's a tough job. That's why you got to make sure that the person that you are doing it for proves themselves and deems to be worthy. And you got to be realistic. If this person is riding for you, doing the things that they're supposed to do, I'm talking to the fellas. If this person is keeping the house clean, keeping the meals hot, this person is helping you leave your home with a full stomach and empty sack. Okay? And they're doing that consistently or whatever the case may be. You should make sure that, bare minimum, that you are covering the basis of need. But you also should be making sure that you are providing them something that they want. That means paying attention to them and listening, even when they don't think you're listening. Just listening to them and, all right. So you like that? I'll make a note of that. When I have the opportunity, I'm going to get that. And then that sets their soul on fire. When you are thoughtful, men, when you are thoughtful, you remember her favorite number, her favorite color. You remember this, you remember that, you remember the third. And you act upon that. You ain't got to kill yourself. But when you start acting upon those things, she knows that you are thoughtful. And remember this, fellas. A woman don't care what you know until she knows how much you care. She doesn't care what you know until she knows how much you care. You could be a whiz and this, that, and the third. She don't want to hear that until she know you care about her. So it takes work. When it's good and when it's bad. You can be a good man when things are bad. You don't have to be a good man only when things are good. The circumstances shouldn't determine if you're a good man or not. Your principles are supposed to determine if you're a good man. Don't ever stop providing your wife what she needs. Don't ever feel like it's labor to provide your wife what she needs. If providing what your wife needs is a struggle for you, you have to evaluate the purpose of your connection. You should naturally want to provide your wife what they need, because when you sow into your wife provides a harvest that you need. And when a wife sows into her husband, it provides a harvest that she needs. You want to take that woman to the next level, she's got to pump something in you. And when you want to magnify your husband, you got to pump something into you. Now, if he's bringing home to you what you need, and you're not doing your due diligence of what you're supposed to do with what he brings home to you, he's going to stop bringing it home to you because he's going to see it futile. But if a man brings it home to you, and you do something that is positive and constructive with what he brings home to you, you ain't gotta tell him twice to bring it home to you. So, ladies, when you see a man, when it used to be so good, what happened? Was he bringing something home to you, and you was being frivolous and stupid with what he brought home to you? I mean, if you brought home something to me, if you gave me something, if you went and you invested in something, and you saw that it was going down the tank, would you keep investing in it? And vice versa. You got to know how to sow in each other. Just because a man is a provider doesn't mean that a woman doesn't provide. And just because a woman is a cultivator doesn't mean that a man can't cultivate. Your major is my minor, and my major is your minor. But just because my major is in producing, it doesn't mean that you can't produce anything. You can't bring forth something. You just do it in a different way. When I build, I do it brick by brick. When you build, you put up the drapes. You decorate the house. When I buy a house, you make it a home. When I buy food, you make it a meal. This is what you're naturally designed to do as men and women. So, we close out with that right here, right now. We close out and we say, in our final thoughts here, we say that clarity is the key. You have to lean in to your partner. And if leaning into your partner takes you away from your purpose, you need to evaluate if that's the right partner. Stop wasting your time. You're wasting her time and you're wasting your time. And nobody's time should be wasted because time is the most precious gift that we have. You want your presents under the Christmas tree to be slaughtered? No. You love those presents, right? If you celebrate that, right? You love those presents. So you want them to be in the best condition. And when you open them, you want them to be there and you want to be able to enjoy those presents. Well, that's the same thing about time. We don't know how long the time is. And so we want to be able to enjoy our time and we want to make the most of our time. So the best way to disrespect someone is to disrespect their time. What are you doing with the time that you have with the person that you're with? Now, I got a brother that lost his wife after being married for 6 years. No one expected that to happen. It was sudden. But you know what I can say about him? He cherished her. So when all the smoke clears, when he goes through his 6 stages of grief and all of those things, when he finishes and he comes out, he's going to have so many wonderful and positive memories of the time that he had. Will you? Will you do that? Or will it be full of regrets? Maximize the time that you have. And sometimes you got to have a moment of pain to avoid having a lifetime of it. If the person that you're with isn't right, you will know because you will tell that person what it is that you need from them and you will get clarity on it. If they don't give you a clarity answer and they beat around the bush or whatever the case may be, you have to make the decision that this person is not trying to help you get where you're trying to get to, and vice versa. Give your partner the clarity that they need and the answers that are true, and see what they do with that. All right. So So we're going to wrap it. We're going to wrap it right there. Look, I hope it's something that I said. I hope it's something that I said that really helped you today. I hope it's something that I said that's going to take you to the next level. Make sure, whatever you do, make sure that you like this video before you close out. Make sure you leave a comment, even if it's a one-word comment. Just leave a comment. I ask that you talk to me nice, because we need to be nice to each other, right? The world is so hateful. Make sure you share this video. And also make sure you subscribe to this channel. And if you need anything from me, if you got questions, you can email me. You can email me. And if you want to book me to speak on a particular subject that you feel would be beneficial and that I've highlighted, I'll be happy to do that. All right. So I love you guys. Take care.